On 3FM 92.7, coming up, Ghana records $2.62 billion in FDI as investor confidence strengthens, with reinvested earnings signaling strong confidence in the economy.
When an investor who has done business in Ghana chooses to commit additional resources here, that decision speaks to confidence in the prospects of our economy.
Also, government targets 5.43 billion cedis in Treasury bill borrowing in fresh debt auction. Plus, experts forecast Ghana cocoa production to fall 13% as weather, disease threaten global supply. My name is Menu Afo. We'll bring you details of these and more shortly. Stay with us. Now the details. Ghana recorded $2.62 billion in foreign direct investment in 2025, reflecting sustained investor confidence and the country's growing attractiveness as an investment destination despite changing global economic conditions. The figure was disclosed at the launch of the 2025 Annual Investment Report in Accra by the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority, IPA. And in her keynote address, Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, said plans are underway to attract even more investments into the country.
Top of my head, Kenya brought in an investment of $250 million. Last year when we went to their headquarters, they were taking this investment to a country who is our friend, so I can't mention. But we were able to convince them to bring the $250 million investment, and we are supposed to commission it next year. Zonda is also almost done with an investment of about $20 million. Sonda, just to mention a few. So I think that sitting on GRA board, I will ensure that our next report will include all these things so that our efforts are actually calculated for. But when an investor who has done business in Ghana chooses to commit additional resources here, that decision speaks to confidence in the prospects of our economy. Our responsibility in government is to preserve that confidence and translate it into greater production, stronger enterprises, and lasting economic value.
That was Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare. Meanwhile, the 2025 Annual Investment Report was jointly compiled by the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority, the Bank of Ghana, Petroleum Commission and Ghana Free Zones Authority, and is themed Resetting Ghana's Investment Landscape for Unlocking Opportunities in a Transforming Economy. In more news, government returned to the domestic money market today to raise 5.428 billion cedis through the sale of Treasury bills as it seeks to maintain a streak of consecutive oversubscriptions. The borrowing exercise, designated Tender 2021, will cover 3 standard Treasury bill tenors, offering investors another opportunity to participate in government's domestic financing program. This 3 Business News Desk report has details.
Government says the funds are needed to meet immediate debt obligations, including the settlement of maturing liabilities, while also supporting the financing of the 2026 national budget. The latest auction comes amid continued government efforts to mobilize funds from the domestic market to meet its financing needs. 3 Business is closely monitoring investor appetite for the securities, particularly whether demand will once again exceed the 5.428 billion cedis targeted by government. A 9th consecutive oversubscription would signal sustained investor interest in government securities and provide some indication of prevailing liquidity conditions in the domestic financial market. The outcome of the auction is also expected to offer fresh insight into borrowing cost and investor confidence in the domestic debt market.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report on government targeting 5.43 billion cedis in Treasury bill borrowing in fresh debt auction. And away from that, Ghana's cocoa production is expected to fall sharply in the 2026-27 season, raising fresh concerns about global supplies and the outlook for cocoa prices. According to Bloomberg, Ghana's cocoa production is forecast to decline by 13% to about 650,000 metric tons in the 2026-2027 season. There's more in the following 3 Business News Desk report.
The forecast follows a strong 2025-2026 harvest of about 750,000 tons, but field surveys suggest production could weaken from September. Farmers are facing aging trees, swollen shoot diseases, and worsening weather conditions, with an expected El Nino pattern rising the risk of hotter and drier conditions. Neighboring Côte d'Ivoire is also facing supply concerns. Production there is currently estimated at about 1.8 million tons, down by 18% from the previous season. The potential losses have promoted analysts to sharply reduce their forecast for the global cocoa surplus. StoneX now expects a surplus of just 25,000 tons in 2026 and 2027, down from its earlier estimate of 149,000 tons. But stronger cocoa inventories and mixed demand could limit further price increases. ICE cocoa stocks recently reached a 2-year high of nearly 3.4 million bags. For the market, the key question is whether falling production in West Africa will outweigh higher inventories and uneven demand. If Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire both record significant crop losses, global cocoa supplies could tighten considerably.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on Ghana cocoa harvest falling 13% as weather disease threaten global supply. Now, before we go, the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, recorded a 70 million cedi surplus in 2025, representing a 51% increase from the previous year. The authority's total assets also rose to 358 million cedis, while liabilities declined significantly to 3.4 million cedis. Despite improved financial position, the FDA says aging laboratory equipment and illicit products remain major challenges to effective public health protection. The FDA processed more than 24,000 product applications and inspected over 47,000 consignments at the ports during the year. The authority also retrieved more than 215,000 non-compliant products as part of intensified market surveillance and enforcement. And that's how we conclude Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, kindly check out our website. It's www.3news.com. I am Menu Aful. Please enjoy the rest of our programs.